Food culture in Southeast Asia. Summary. Food culture in Southeast Asia explores the diverse foodways of the region, from rice culture and staple ingredients to cooking methods, typical meals, and eating out. The book also covers special occasions, diet, and health, highlighting the cultural significance of food in Southeast Asia. Food culture in Southeast Asia. Summarize. Southeast Asian cuisines, such as da, have become quite popular in the United States even though immigrant numbers are low. The food is appealing because it is tasty, attractive, and generally healthful, with plentiful vegetables, fish, noodles, and rice. Food culture in Southeast Asia is a richly informative overview of the food and foodways of the mainland countries including Burma, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Malaysia, and the island countries of Singapore, Brunei, East Timor, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Students and other readers will learn how diverse peoples from diverse geographies feed themselves and the value they place on eating as a material, social, and symbolic act. Chapter 1, Historical Overview, surveys the archaeological and historical evidence concerning mainland Southeast Asia, with emphasis on the Indianized kingdoms of the mainland and the influence of the spice trade on subsequent European colonization. Chapter 2, Major Foods and Ingredients, particularly illuminates the rice culture as the central source of calories and a dominant cultural symbol of feminine nurture, plus fish and fermented fish products, local fresh vegetables and herbs, and meat and variable amounts. The cooking chapter discusses the division of labor in the kitchen, kitchens and their equipment, and the steps in acquiring, processing and preparing food. The typical meals chapter approaches typical meals by describing some common meal elements, meal format, and the timing of meals. Typical meals are presented as variations on a common theme, with particular attention to contrasts such as rural, urban and palace, village. Iconic meals and dishes that carry special meaning as markers of ethnic or national identity are also covered. Chapter 6, Eating Out, reviews some of the options for public eating away from home in the region, including the newly developed popularity of Southeast Asian restaurants overseas. The chapter has an urban, middle-class bias, as those are the people who are eating out on a regular basis. The Special Occasions chapter examines ritual events such as feeding the spirits of rice and the ancestors, Buddhist and Muslim rituals involving food, rites of passage, and universal celebrations around the coming of the new year. The final chapter on diet and health looks at some of the ideologies underlying the relation between food and disease, particularly the humoral system, and then considers the nutritional challenges related to recent changes in local food systems, including food safety.
Penny van Esterik's Food Culture in Southeast Asia offers a comprehensive exploration of the region's culinary traditions, emphasizing the intricate interplay between food, history, identity, and globalization. The book delves into how Southeast Asian societies have developed diverse foodways influenced by geography, religion, colonialism, and modern economic shifts. Regional and cultural diversity. Van Esterik examines both mainland and island nations, including Burma, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, East Timor, Indonesia, and the Philippines. She highlights the region's rich biodiversity and varied climates, which contribute to a wide array of ingredients and culinary techniques. The book underscores the significance of rice, tropical fruits, fish, and spices, noting how these staples are central to daily meals and cultural practices. The author also discusses the role of religion in shaping dietary habits. For instance, Buddhist, Muslim, and Hindu beliefs influence food preparation and consumption, leading to diverse culinary customs across the region. Historical influences and colonial legacies. A significant portion of the book addresses the impact of colonialism and trade on Southeast Asian cuisines. Van Esterik explores how European colonizers introduced new ingredients and cooking methods which were then adapted into local food cultures. She also examines the influence of Chinese and Indian migration, which brought additional layers of complexity to the region's culinary landscape. The book delves into the concept of national cuisines, analyzing how modern nation-states have constructed culinary identities. Van Esterik argues that these identities often emerge from a blend of indigenous traditions and foreign influences, shaped by historical events and political agendas. Food identity and social structures. Van Esterik emphasizes the role of food in expressing social and cultural identities. She discusses how meals are not merely about sustenance, but also about community, status, and tradition. The book examines gender roles in food preparation and consumption, noting that women often hold significant responsibilities in maintaining culinary traditions. The author also explores the symbolism of food in rituals and ceremonies, highlighting how specific dishes are integral to religious festivals, life cycle events, and communal gatherings. Globalization and contemporary challenges. In the context of globalization, Van Esterik analyzes how Southeast Asian cuisines have been commodified and transformed. She discusses the rise of street food culture, the influence of international tourism, and the proliferation of Southeast Asian restaurants worldwide. The book also addresses concerns about food security, environmental sustainability, and the preservation of culinary heritage in the face of rapid modernization. Conclusion: Food culture in Southeast Asia provides an in-depth look at the region's diverse and dynamic culinary landscape. Van Esterik's interdisciplinary approach combines anthropology, history, and cultural studies to offer readers a nuanced understanding of how food functions as a vital component of Southeast Asian societies. The book serves as a valuable resource for anyone interested in the complexities of food culture and its role in shaping human experiences. For further information, you can access the book through ResearchGate, researchgate.net/publication/3783589 for Food Culture in Southeast Asia. A Scholarly Biography, Introduction and Overview. Penny Van Esterik is a Canadian anthropologist whose influential work spans nutritional anthropology, feminist theory, and food studies. Best known for her research on breastfeeding, food culture, and global health, Van Esterik has helped to reframe infant feeding as a site of cultural, political, and ethical importance. Her scholarship bridges academic inquiry and social justice, offering a compelling critique of the global food industry and its impact on women and children, especially in Southeast Asia. Through her ethnographic work, policy contributions, and widely read publications, she has become a leading voice in the anthropology of food and maternal care. Childhood and upbringing. Penny Van Esterik was born in 1949 in Canada. Though specific details of her early life remain private, she has written with clarity and conviction about the structures that shape women's lives, care work, and cultural identities, suggesting an early exposure to social awareness and critical thought. Her career-long interest in the cultural and ethical implications of food and nutrition may be traced back to formative influences that emphasized the interconnectedness of daily life, global economics, and cultural practice. Education and academic affiliations. Van Esterik earned her PhD in anthropology from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in 1977. Her doctoral work focused on nutritional practices in Thailand, where she conducted extensive fieldwork. This experience not only shaped her regional specialization, but also established the methodological grounding for her career. She joined York University in Toronto as a professor in the Department of Anthropology, where she contributed to the university's growing reputation in interdisciplinary studies. At York, Van Esterik was central to the development of academic programs in food studies and women's studies. She retired as professor emerita, but continues to contribute to scholarly discourse through mentoring, writing, and collaborative projects. Major publications and book summaries. Beyond the Breast Bottle Controversy, 1989. This seminal work interrogates the prevailing debate over breastfeeding versus bottle feeding, moving beyond biomedical arguments to examine the broader cultural, political, and economic contexts in which infant feeding decisions are made. Van Esterik critiques both commercial pressures and overly prescriptive public health messages, advocating instead for maternal autonomy informed by cultural knowledge. She presents breastfeeding not only as a nutritional issue, but as a human right and a site of embodied cultural meaning. The book is widely credited with shifting the discourse on infant feeding from a simplistic medical binary to a more nuanced anthropological framework. Food and Culture, a Reader, First ed., 1997, with Carol Cunningham. Co-edited with food anthropologist Carol Cunningham, this comprehensive reader has become a foundational text in the interdisciplinary field of food studies. The anthology gathers key essays exploring food through various lenses: economic, ritual, political, and gendered. Van Esterik's own contributions in the volume reflect her enduring interest in food as a site of cultural reproduction and resistance. Updated in multiple editions, the book is widely used in university curricula and has helped establish food as a central topic in anthropological and sociological inquiry. From Virtue to Vice, The Marketing of Infant Formula in Thailand, 1981. This earlier publication draws on Van Esterik's fieldwork in Thailand to explore the incursion of multinational corporations into local food practices. Focusing on the marketing strategies used to promote infant formula in a context with limited health infrastructure, she documents how cultural ideals of modernity and motherhood were manipulated to foster dependence on manufactured milk products. The work offers one of the earliest ethnographic accounts of how global capitalism affects infant nutrition in the global South. Legacy and Continuing Impact. Penny Van Esterik's work has had a lasting impact across multiple disciplines, including anthropology, global health, women's studies, and development studies. Her influence is seen not only in academic theory, but in international policy and advocacy. Her critique of formula marketing practices contributed to the global movement for breastfeeding rights and informed the development of the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes. Through her books and teaching, she has empowered a generation of scholars to think critically about food, gender, and global justice. Her work continues to challenge dominant narratives and serve as a model for socially engaged, culturally grounded scholarship.
Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.